everybody.
Hello.
Today I'm here with
Layne, Morgan, that's my name.
Welcome back to my channel, ladies and gentlemen, and those who identify as a toaster strudel. Today we're going to take on a video by Riley J. Dennis and her friend Layne. We're going to talk about media representation and how they're wrong. Please enjoy.
I work in TV. I was previously on The 100 on the CW and Shannara Chronicles on TV and Into the Badlands on AMC, all of which I worked on in the writer's room as an assistant.
I decided to leave this part in the video just to show that Layne does have at least some understanding of modern media. Layne also identifies as a gay woman and is into queer fandoms. Moving on.
So as a queer person working in the TV industry, how or why do you think that queer representation is important in TV?
I mean, I feel like it'd be silly at this point to try to say that any sort of representation across the board is not important.
I just disagree, Layne. I do. Representation for the sake of representation is truly not important. What is important for a film, TV series, video game, novel, or short story is just that, the story. Putting a character that doesn't belong or is not developed correctly to have a purpose within the plot into the story just for the sake of more representation can and does ruin it for everybody.
Seeing yourself and seeing people like you and having who you are reflected back to you in stories and on screen and in love and in heroics and even in villains is affirming. It's about being able to see who you are out there in the universe. I mean, there's a reason so many things you watch are like cis straight white dudes, because they're seen as the default of society, the everyman that everyone can sort of relate to, and that's not the case.
Affirmation and relation with characters is all fine and dandy. It's great. It helps to sell the product. But what you seem to not understand is that media is a business. The number one goal for any business, can you guess it? Yeah, it's to make a profit. Therefore, any business must appeal to the largest audience and potential customer base. So yes, modern media is geared towards the cis, straight individual simply because their demographic is the largest potential customer base and are the likeliest group to bring in a high profit margin.
But it was always made that way because those people wanted to see themselves.
No, it was not. It was geared to them because they are the most likely group to bring in a high profit margin. What don't you get about basic economics?
And so we would all like to see ourselves. So, I mean, the thought that someone who is... I'm surrounded by queer people so much in my day-to-day life, and I'm fortunate to have grown up in Boston and to live in Los Angeles now.
All I'm really getting from this is a lot of anecdotal evidence as to how Layne and Riley see the world, which is completely okay. I use my own life experiences to interpret the world around me, and so does everybody else. However, what I draw issue with is the fact that they want to change something that affects everyone based off their anecdotal experiences. So let's talk numbers here and why I think the current representation is adequate. The current population of the United States is about 324 million people. Of those 324 million, approximately 10 million identify as LGBTQ+. That's approximately 4.1% of the US population that is LGBT. That is an increase of about 0.6% in 4 years. Now, according to GLAAD, which is an advocacy group for LGBT peoples in media, the overall percentage of regular LGBTQ characters on a broadcast series is about 4.8%, an increase of 0.8% in just 1 year. That is just in broadcast series and does not include film or streaming series. So, representation in the media is at a higher percentage than representation in the population and is growing faster than representation in the population. I see that what is happening now already fits their narrative, so why are they complaining?
There are so many people out there in the rest of the country and the rest of the world who have far less access to people like them. So even in that way, I think it's really, really important to have accessible content for people to start saying, hey, look, that's me. And also beyond that, for the rest of the universe to see those people and go, oh, hey, that guy's gay and he's a superhero. Cool. And not think about it. And then it becomes less othering for everybody else.
Totally like normalizing it.
Right,
Just making
right,
it be like,
right.
these are people in regular things.
If a kid
Yeah.
watched The Avengers and one of the guys was trans, then that would just be a thing that was part of his normal vocabulary.
Actually, no. If one of the Avengers was trans, it would mess up a major part of the story. Every single Avenger is based off of comic books written decades ago. There is a story for each Avenger, and if filmmakers decided to make one of them trans, well, there would be a backlash. The backlash doesn't come from people who are transphobic. It comes from a dedicated fan base that doesn't want representation for the sake of representation. We don't want our beloved characters of our favorite books, comics, or films changed for no other reason than diversity. You can see this by sales drops leading to the Black Panther and the Crew comic by Marvel being cancelled, a comic that was obviously pandering to the Black Lives Matter crowd. If you want inclusivity or more representation in media, make your own stories. Stop trying to change ones that are already concrete and have concrete characters and stories. If the story you make is interesting and captivating, it will sell. That's how the market works.
Are there particular stories that were like really important to you growing up that had queer characters in them?
So much of my TV watching experience, fandom experience when I was growing up was stuff that like wasn't necessarily queer that I was just like relating to and sort of inserting a lot of like subtext.
Yeah.
I really loved to watch things and be like, oh, imagine if those girls were like good friends. Like just
Gal
like,
pals.
really good friends. I didn't come out until sometime in my 20s. It's been a while. It's been a while, but not that long.
You just admitted that you did not need queer media in order for you to enjoy and relate to the media that you grew up with. You simply used your imagination to expand on the characters, story, and plot to create a fandom for yourself. Fandoms are a good thing. They provide other perspectives, ideas, and help to build a strong fan base around a particular story. You can see how positive fandoms were for Star Wars. There has been an infinite number of books, video games, fan films, and more that expand on the plots and stories of the universe. This has helped Star Wars to build a fan base so large that a small-budget sci-fi film went to a massive worldwide story that brings people of all races, ethnicities, nationalities, and gender together, all without any need to change the plot, race, or gender of any of the characters. Anyway, this is where I think I'm going to end this one. Layne continues to go on about how she thinks the best way to fix the issues that she sees is to have more diversity within media. I don't necessarily disagree, but I think she wouldn't agree with the type of diversity I would advocate for. I would advocate that there be more diversity of thought within media. After all, television and film is probably the most regressive or progressive industry in the world. I would like to see more conservative, libertarian, or even just centrist voices within media. Far too often do we see Hollywood elites bashing people with these ideals and then get a response of a standing ovation or, quote, thunderous applause. See what I did there? Anyway, thanks for watching, and have a great day.